It's Rick without the K. James presents, in my opinion, podcast.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching. We're going to talk about the little Ralph Barbosa bullshit that's going on. All right? And I know it's not going on anymore, so any motherfucking viewers that, because again, I put out a video and the viewers were like, man, the beef stopped, this, that, and the other. That's not the point.
Put up a warning. No Mexicans were hurt in the taping of this.
I don't think it was a beef. I think it was just one man's
opinion.
opinion.
The point for me was,
they tried to make
let me state this first, and then who wants to go first after me?
As the Mexican here, I'll go first. Okay. I have the right to speak on this.
First, let me make this because I got to make it clear. Is to me, I watched the thing, but again, I told people the one thing the viewers might not know is I had Steve Trevino on my podcast 2 months prior to him being on George's, and off camera, the conversation wasn't as nice as it was when it was on camera with him and George. So I saw the whole clip differently, right? I saw Steve working his magic, and I was all good for Steve. And the fact that he used somebody else's name and not his to get the George to act the way that I know George as a fucking asshole, right? I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever fucking seen this year, right? So I was I put it out there where, you know, I think Ralph is cool. Like, he's a funny dude. He's gotten his clicks. He's doing his thing. But I put it out there where I was like, you know what? I feel like Latin comics know, most of us know, especially if you work with George, that he doesn't want you anywhere around him. He doesn't want to be around any other Latin comedians. He's never going to fucking help another Latin comedian out. There's been multiple stories of him fucking over people, including Paul Rodriguez, and calling casinos and saying, if you book him, don't book me no more type shit. And that's the shady shit where I'm like, so it doesn't have to worry about the beef. It's about the man's character for me. And I said, so to make it right in my eyes, and he doesn't have to do shit that I'm saying, is if you're gonna say that you don't have no beef with this young man, nothing, throw him a bone then. Show the rest of the, calm down us Latin comedians that want to say something about your bitch ass, and throw him a bone. You have your own show, put him on an episode, do something, show him that, hey, man, I've turned over a new leaf. I'm an older dude. I'm trying to get into heaven now. Whatever your fucking excuse is, but help out. Because there are other people like a Cheech Marin who put on fucking a George Lopez and helped him out. Paul Rodriguez who still has got love for the dude and was damn near crying on Felipe Esparza's podcast about the man. And
I gotta go back and hear that.
There's so many things out there that's why I'm getting upset when I read the comments where people where I'm like, no, because I lived this life, so I understand this bullshit. I know I worked with George, and he looked me in my eyes and said, when I say, man, I got people coming, all 7 shows, blah blah blah. I wanted to tell people I work with you, and he looked me straight in the eyes and said, well, you did work with me, and you're off the other 6. There's only one funny Latin comedian on the stage, and it's gonna be me. You're not needed. So when I see the shit and I see the clip, I'm like, oh, good Lord, man, he's just showing his ass. He's the same dude that's the motherfucker I met. And that's why you'll never see me post a picture with him, none of that shit. Because, you know, when he asks, you want a picture? Fuck no, I don't want no picture, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And if I didn't have love for the club that I performed at with him, I was all, you would have heard about me on TMZ and shit. So, you know, we can keep it like gentlemen, or we can take it in some gangster shit type shit, right? So
that's right, TMZ in this motherfucker.
So that's the way I'm looking at it, where I just hope that there's some good to come out of it, because again, I look at someone like a Fluffy who's helped out many of our friends, you know, with having Stand Up Revolution, and helped out many comedians. And when you get this platform, at least as Rudy knows, that's the way I want to veer to be. I want to be that Bert Kreischer that's bringing on newer comedians and letting people do their thing and showing the love. Same shit I try to do with the podcast or whatever it may be. And because we're all in this fucked up, like we talk about the shit off camera, we all live this fucked up life where we're sometimes paying to bring everybody else laughter.
Yeah,
and
that's a choice.
But that's the choice of a...
You're not old for that choice.
No, I don't think you're old for it, but I think you shouldn't you shouldn't go out of your way to try to fuck somebody else over when they're already getting fucked over. I see it in my eyes like that. So that's all I'm saying. So I'm probably sure I'll jump back in after I hear you guys speak, but that's my piece that I wanted to say, and I did want to touch on this a little bit because, again, I'm happy for Ralph doing his thing. I'm more than grateful that Steve Trevino even brought up his fucking name. So shout outs to Steve for that. But what's your thoughts on the whole situation, Rudy?
Well, I agree with both of you guys when you say that it's not cool for somebody to deliberately try to fuck somebody over, like go out of their way to really fuck them over. That's never cool. So whether you're a famous dude like George Lopez or you're like just a regular, up and comer comic, dude trying to make it, never fuck anybody over deliberately like that. Don't go out of your way to fuck people over. That's always bad. But at the same time, though, one thing I have been noticing a lot, though, especially with this conversation about Barbosa and Lopez, one of the main things that I keep on hearing pop up, or the sentiment that is floating around, is this idea that George Lopez, another reason why people are bashing on him, is because he doesn't want to help other Latino comics out. He doesn't help us out. He's not helping us. We need the help, and he won't fucking help us. Every time we need help, he's never there to help us. We need the fucking help. And I'm here to tell all comics this, especially the young ones, and to remind
needs help?
And to remind the rest of them.
Okay.
It's not that no one needs help. Everybody needs help. But do not for one fucking second expect anybody to help you in this shit. You're a fool if you're waiting for somebody to do something good for you. And then you're also a fool for thinking that if they don't help you, that like they somehow slighted you. Unless they went out of their way to deliberately fuck you over, them helping you is not it's not necessary. Like, it's not required of them. Nobody's here to help you in this shit.
What's in front of your face?
A microphone.
And who performs in front of that microphone?
I'm doing it right now.
You got 7 motherfuckers on the stage with you?
Exactly.
So you better be about your motherfucking self.
Exactly.
Like, you cannot wait on somebody to coddle you the fuck along.
No, do not wait for anybody to lift you up, to bring you up. Do not help. Do not expect anybody. Don't have that same like feeling that you have where you feel bad because nobody's helping you, the way that you feel like if you had like a parent or a teacher or a coach that wasn't helping you. These motherfuckers are not our coaches. They're not going to lift us up. At the very best, they're our peers. And bro, we work in it. This is an industry where everybody wants the spotlight on them.
That's right.
That's what everybody's trying to do. Put asses in seats, right? So if your asses get in the way of their asses and they have enough leverage to bully you out of the way, man, that's just part of the game. That's just part of the deal. Get bigger. Be in more demand. That's the only way to fucking combat this shit, because the attitude of like saying to ourselves as comics, like, oh, well, they're not helping me. That's fucked up. They never helped me. Man, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Nobody got into this shit to help anybody.
Yeah.
If somebody does help you, that's dope as fuck. And you should appreciate them and always show respect and love for the person that does help when they do help. And a lot of people do help.
Yeah.
But to sit there and pout when somebody doesn't help, especially somebody so, I mean, George Lopez is like in another realm, bro. He's got a fucking star on the Walk of Fame. Like, he's like a big celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for it's expected them to help us or to even look our way, man, that's delusional in my opinion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the reason. And it's like I always tell Rick this. This is tied to the way that I want to see art anyways. I don't want there to be no fairness in art. I didn't come to art for fairness. I didn't come to art for rules and guidelines and the way that things are supposed to go. If you want a fucking fair job and rules and all that shit, get a desk job. You're gonna find they got HR there. When shit gets out of line, you can go talk to them. I didn't come to comedy. I didn't choose art for rigidness. I like this shit because I get a chance to say and do reckless shit.
It's grimy.
I like the reckless shit.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
You gotta earn it.
So if motherfuckers can stomp on you because their fucking balls are bigger than yours, because they put more asses in seats, because they're more popular, because they're funnier, because they're taller, they're better looking, whatever the fuck it is, it's up to you to make up for that.
Yeah.
We can't expect these motherfuckers to help us, man. But when they do help us, show them love. Yeah. Because they didn't have to. They really didn't fucking have to.
Yeah, but before we switch over to you real quick, because I don't want to lose this thought, okay, is the fact that I think that's again, I don't think anybody should have to help you. I don't think people should go gunning for you, right? Is my point that I'm trying to make. But also the griminess, the grit, the this, the that of comedy is if you was gonna act ghetto than be that person. And I feel like a lot of comedians don't. Where again, there's also another clip where George is also known for that whole Eric Estrada thing, right? And then there's a clip for those that know, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
How Eric Estrada fucking dismissed him as a kid. But there's a clip out there where Eric's like, no. But then I talked to him as a grown dude and was like, hey man, can we just be cool? And when you have that side conversation, and he goes, George was like, nah, fuck that. And Eric goes, look, we can go behind the truck and figure this the fuck out. And George was like, nah, dude, I'm a comedian. I'm not a fighter. And he goes, no, you're a bully with a fucking microphone. And that's where I'm saying where if you're going to act like, just expect, because if I'm talking shit to a dude that's bigger than me, I'm going to expect that dude to swing on me, and then I'm going to have to handle my shit. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like a lot of comedians do that shit, especially George's bitch ass. Is he just knows that even if that's where I've been comfortable with this, is because I feel like some comedians too are like, man, I want to say something, but he could ruin my career. Well, thank God I don't have a career, so you ain't gonna ruin mine, George. So I don't give a fuck.
Well, he was your Denny's. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like literally, like he was that experience that you had as a young comic that made you be like, man, that's fucked up. Like there's somebody that's like this. Right. And that's unfortunate. But I will tell you that there's gonna be many more of those.
Yeah, it's gonna happen a lot.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
And I look at it like this. George helped him.
Oh, ultimately he did.
It wasn't on purpose, but this was the Kanye Taylor Swift situation.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
George is Kanye.
But
no.
But here's the deal.
I think Ralph needs to hire Steve as his promoter.
Because that's not who he is. That dude to me is a guy that has urban and kind of hood influence, but is hood adjacent as an individual. That means he's had experiences. He's voicing shit that I can relate to. The family member that's so dope that we didn't want him to do it, but we was benefiting. Yeah. Those things are like, that's why I fuck with him, because he's really painting a picture of what society doesn't really necessarily get, but he does it from an intellectual standpoint. Yeah. All right. George is a standard. I don't give a fuck what you say. You understand what I mean? Yeah. He has done a lot, and whether it's individually or with other people, he did a lot. Well, he
basically created the way that Mexican American comedy to be today.
That's right.
He if you really think about it, he created that world.
He was the first dude to really make it mainstream. If you really think about it, to where it was like, but also if you listen to George's material, you start understanding why he may be a product of his environment and why he's the way he is. See, we so quick to bash and lash without understanding his grandmother was clearly a bigot. Do you understand what I'm saying? His influence was always negative. Like that shit stays with you a lifetime. Oh, right. You can't run from it. Right. So maybe his teaching and his education is what made this individual who he is. It's me all the time by any means necessary. Fuck the world. I'm gonna win. A lot of people, when it's not in our own ethnicity, they see that mentality and we are drawn to it. Because we're like, that motherfucker. But when it's our own people, and I'm not Latino, but I'm saying it from a standpoint of, if he's victorious because he said, you know what, I'm fucking doing this my way. I don't feel as though it's my responsibility to bring you along because I had a fucking rough road. But we all know the Sandra Bullock situation with his sitcom. We all know those stories. We know good and goddamn well somebody probably tapped him. But that's not George. You guys understand what I'm saying? Right. And I'm going to tell you right now, that situation that happened with you was supposed to happen. Because that was a push to say, fuck this dude, I'm going to still bang. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can't always look at these situations as something that's fucking horrible. It's like you're supposed to have them demons in front of you for you to keep fucking pushing. Like George, to me, man, is the realest motherfucker in that he's relentless and he's clearly saying, I'm the motherfucking man. I don't want no Latino comments around me because I don't want nobody sharing my shine of what the fuck I do. I don't want to hear about your struggles with your, like that. He don't give a fuck. And that is, and you have to at some point kind of understand his drive. That's what I look at. Now, do I like it? No, it's fucked up. But there's also a part of me that understands what he comes from, because I come from that same shit.
Yeah.
I just had it in my heart to not be a hater.
Yeah.
But I also understand that sometimes we are guilty of being a product of our environment and the shit that we see and we are raised around, we become.
Right.
And we should sometimes feel bad for the motherfucker more than we should hate on him. Because at 50, he's 60 something years old, and he still has that in his heart.
But I will say this though, Key, because I agree with what you're saying in terms of why he probably is the way that he is. You know, everybody has.
It don't make it right.
Exactly. It don't make it right. I mean, we all agree on that, right?
Yeah.
But beyond just like the fact that it's fucked up to like not want to help or to just not have any desire to turn around and lend a lending hand, or what is it? Helping hand? Yeah. Lend a helping hand. Besides that though, bro, it's also this idea that like he doesn't actually have to go about it the way that he's going about it. Yeah. That's I think what really bothers people. Because if I was George Lopez or if I had his ear, I'd be like, bro, you're like there's a big homie and then there's like the biggest homie.
Yeah.
The huge homie.
The triple OG.
The triple, quadruple, quintuple bypass OG. You feel me? Yeah. You're that. You don't even have to fucking address anything in a negative way for it to not benefit from it being in your presence. Like you could bring up anybody around George Lopez, mention any name, and if he doesn't address it, it's dead.
How long do you want to be the man?
I mean,
that is that fight in this dude. Like he's like, when he sees somebody, he's so competitive. He's the Jordan. Like we don't see it because social media wasn't there, but Jordan was an asshole.
Right.
When you are aspiring to be great, there is a part of you that does not want to give up that fucking crown. Do you understand? And I think I admire that competitive side of George because he's fucking relentless. But
right.
I don't understand why he can't at some point say, you know what? Let me give this motherfucker a look. Let me give this motherfucker a nod. But I get it.
Yeah. But even if he doesn't, that's my whole point though. Even if he doesn't want to give them, he can still carry that energy of like, I'm never helping nobody out without doing shit like what he did on this podcast that we're talking about with the Barbosa Lopez podcast. Yeah. He didn't have to insist on not bringing up that motherfucker's name because that's what he said. Yeah. He didn't have to make fun of.
Did you guys watch any of the rebuttals from Ralph?
No, I saw him. I saw him on another podcast.
I saw him on Flagrant too, and he was kind of just.
He didn't have to mess up the name. He didn't he went out of his way to call him a funny name. And what I'm saying is if I'm George Lopez's homie, I'm looking at him and I'm like, bro, you ain't even got to do that because you're right. You are ultimately helping them, and you're looking like a dick at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like when every person in power, and this is straight out of Machiavelli, man. Every person in power has to ensure one thing always to maintain power. And that is that everything else you could defend yourself from because you're that powerful. But the one thing you can't defend yourself from and you must always guard yourself from, you can never become hated.
Yeah.
When motherfuckers hate you, your kingdom, they stop believing in it and it crumbles. Because that's all it really takes.
He became a tyrant.
Exactly.
In that moment because you got a guy that's genuinely a young cat coming up and you didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Irregardless,
you didn't have to do that, bro. And so when people hate you, when people fear you, and then when they respect you, they keep themselves at bay.
Yeah.
Because they fear you and respect you. But when they hate you, they would like to see nothing more and participate in nothing more than your demise.
Yeah.
And once you get enough people actively thinking like that, bro, all it takes is for everybody's mind to change about
and
George Lopez,
social media?
and it's over. So
media?
you know what I'm saying? So if I was his advisor, I would tap him on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, bro, don't be hated. Don't be a hater, and also don't be hated."
Yeah, especially I think we watched his last special, and I think George has done all the Latino topics.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And then when you regenerate, and I'm a fan of his craft. Because he is a craftsman with this shit. And he's done some great things. His crowd work, I've seen him at the Punchline years ago. And, but man, I hate when I would hear the stories about people saying that, he don't, why or what. But there's also a part of me that looks at this person like, what happened? You know? And but we've learned some valuable lessons. Like you said it, don't nobody owe you shit. You got to get it.
You got to get it, bro.
I think it points out to we learned a lot from this little fucking hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a learning experience. I don't know about you guys, but I've had individuals that had an opportunity that I know there was other people around, and they had an opportunity once my name was mentioned to put me in a position to have something happen, and they stayed in silence. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at them because that's they shit. Do you understand? Like, I don't care. Yeah. Because I'm not going to have the anger in my heart and animosity to hate this motherfucker when that was his problem.
Right.
Maybe he was so goddamn consumed. I'm assuming that he didn't mention me, but maybe he just was, in the moment, he was scared or he was nervous or he didn't know what to do. I don't know, but all I know is that you had an opportunity to say something and you didn't.
Right.
But that hate ain't there because maybe it wasn't my time.
Now, if they deliberately go out of their way to fucking shit up,
I would rather you be in silence than fuck me.
Right.
I would rather you be in silence. And I don't give nobody an opportunity because I don't treat people fucked up. I've never did nobody dirty. I'm boisterous with my opinion. I will tell you, just like I would tell the individual. If something's up, I'm gonna say to you, and I know you there, friend. Hey man, what's up with your man?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I think that's fair. Like, I'm not running from the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I very rarely do I ever be put on blast because I've said something that I wouldn't say to the individual.
Yeah,
you know, and that was the part. And you are you intimidated? You already won, bro. You at the top of Mount Mexican more.
Yeah, exactly. You're every face. Face. It goes fucking Pancho Villa. It goes fucking Julio Cesar Chavez. It goes fucking Cesar Chavez and then George Lopez. That's the Mount Rushmore right there.
Who is? I mean, fuck Carlos. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Felipe and all these cats from that cloth. And I mean, George is older than all them cats, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Fluffy, Gabe, but Gabe and them, I'm sure that was their tutelage. Like, they learned from this motherfucker, man. That raw truth, that honesty, that...
Of course they did.
Don't give a fuck. Like, George wouldn't be who he is, and we wouldn't have had who he was if he wasn't like how he is. Mm-hmm. So you guys have to understand. Like, that's what I want people to understand. Oh, okay. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we didn't get this motherfucker because he was a coddler. We got that raw drive, that fucking just relentlessness because of who he was bred to be. Right. And we that's how I look at things. Like, I always try to figure out, well, why the fuck? You ever have somebody come up in the female be like, he punched the fuck out of me? Well, bitch, why?
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Why what the fuck did you say?
Let's get to that
let's
first.
Let's get to the bottom of it.
Let's his brother.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, well, you didn't talk about that. Bitch. With a swole up face, making you seem like you're the victim. Bitch, you fucked the dude's brother. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a cause and effect. And I think as I've grown and I've evaluated and I've learned and lessons from my father and I've absorbed things, I start to realize emotional intelligence is a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can embody that shit. You ever know somebody that's like young and they act like they're a fucking
old soul
Jedi Knight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a blessing because I don't have that.
No, me neither.
I mean, I've gotten better, but I've had to make a shit ton of mistakes.
Right.
You know,
and I will say, for women out there, we're not saying that you should get beat unless it's one of my ex-wives. Then spit at them, kick them, throw rock. No,
bruh. I ain't never hit a bitch in broad daylight. It's always been in the dark.
Uh-oh, power's
bitch,
out.
That was a wall right there, bitch. I don't know what.
Hey, power out, not bitch, power up.
Boy, Charlie Murphy, my main man, Rick James. That's the one you think, the comedian Rick James. Get up.
I can't hear my neighbor crying, I can't breathe.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. Thank you for watching.